Hi and welcome back to my workshop. I'm Tony and I'm building the M26 Pershing tank from Armortek, another 1:6 scale full metal kit tank. And the last time we left off, I assembled the bins, the equipment bins, and I installed them to one of the mud guards. Since I last saw you, I've done the same on the other side, and I've now also cleaned off the paint on the underside, glued all the little 2.5mm gauge nuts on, ready for the side skirtings. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them painted, primed and painted, and in between coats I'm going to, so I don't lose time, I'm going to assemble this part of the build. So this is the front section of the tank here, some of the hatches. I understand there's been some complications with that as well, so we'll soon find out whether that indeed is the case. And so that's it. And then really the next part for my build will be, I'm waiting for the motion packs to arrive. I've only opted, if you like, for the motion pack and the light pack at this stage, because I want to get the drive gears installed while I've got full access to the hull, and I want to get the lights installed before I want to get the lighting kit. So when I install the front lights, the wiring and everything's ready to go in. So that's it. In a moment I'll reset the camera and we'll get cracking. So just about ready to go. Got the mud guards out, all assembled with the bins. Got the bins open, they're cleaned. I'm going to paint the underside as well, give that another coat, give its first coat of etch primer on the top here, and then we'll just work up the coats as we have done in the past till its final coat. So just going to pop this mask on. I'll put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. This is already given a good shake, so this is the etch primer. To go and get my trusty piece of cloth. So we just want to try and build this up slowly. Don't try and get too much paint on. Nice and easy. Just, if anything oversprays, doesn't matter. Don't be frightened of this. It's just a base coat. Pop those lids down for a minute. I'm spraying this approximately 8 inches away from the target area, keeping the nozzle white all the time. And just light coats so they dry very quickly. You don't have to get a full coat of etching primer on, just need to get a nice evenly spaced coat. And then the red oxide will do its job. Pop these open again. It's already dry. It's a dry day, lovely hot day like this, it will dry. Just turn the can upside down, give it a spray in the bin, and then that will do for the first coat. So I'm going to leave that for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and we'll build up the coats of red oxide. I'm not putting too much of the etching primer on it, that's just a key primer. The red oxide will then build up the coats, and I'll give that a hit underneath as well. So I'll be back very soon. Right, so now we're ready for the red oxide. As you can see, I've turned them upside down, so all these fixings are on show. I don't want to risk seeing these, and also want to get a coat of paint on the little perimeter set of nuts that we put in, ready for the skirting. So I'll give this a really good shake. And again, just going to go nice. Sorry, just get my forgot about that. Always arm yourself with a bit of kitchen roll just to keep that nozzle clean. So start again. Just building up the coats of paint. Again, about 8 inches away from the target. Now this, once I've got these painted, I'm not going to install because there's a long way to go, and I don't want to make, because once these are on and the tracks are on, this is going to be one heavy beast. It's already heavy, but I've got a feeling I'm going to need to spend a bit of time installing other elements and being able to spin the tank round. And really, I don't see any reason why this doesn't get bolted on sort of near the end of the whole process. Once I've done this, I'm going to get the tracks out, give them a coat of paint, but I'm not going to build up paint on those, not going to prime them or anything. I'm just going to hit them with a dark grey anthracite like I did with the Tiger. This paint will dry really quickly in this weather. When I did the Tiger, it was the middle of winter and I had to set up a painting tent inside my workshop. It took a long time for the paint to cure. It's literally drying as we hit it. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit longer and we'll come back and give it another coat. Right, so I've just tilted the mud guards up so I can hit the sides of this with the red oxide, and I'll just crack on with that. It's going on really nicely. Again, it's just a matter of patience, building up, not being frightened of it either. I think, you know, if you're nervous about doing this, do some testing first. Bit of old timber or some old, what I used to do is get some old plastic toys that my kids used to play with, beyond repair and beyond any other function, and then just practiced with that. I promise you I never did any graffiti when I was a kid, mind you. I think it's because I just couldn't afford to buy the paint. Obviously none of this is going to be seen for real because it's underneath, but what I didn't want is to have any of the fixings shining out, so to speak. So I just need, I'm going to turn these and prop these the other way around in a moment so I can get the sides done of the bins, and then I think we're ready to start building up the top coats. And this is drying really quickly. The odd bits of offcuts of timber, so heavy, so really useful. So we'll spin these around, I think. You see now, just starting to pick up the edges that were on show. Move those away. And probably, I did think about leaving these grey on the inside, but I've decided to go full colour green, or the olive drab. It's a really hot day today, and my grandkids are in the inflatable pool we've got up. Yes, everyone in the UK has raced out, if you haven't already got one, to try and get one. Again, I'm kind of doing things out of sequence, but I think it's probably working out for the best. Don't know how you could, I think in the order of the instructions, if you were to try and build it in order as Armortek suggests, I think you could end up getting a little bit in trouble. But and this is only because I have learnt so much from my time building the Tiger, and I think one or two of you have commented on that on my channel, and yes, the answer is building the Tiger has given me the confidence to really attack this model in a way that I probably would have struggled with if I hadn't built the Tiger in the first place. So I'm just slowly building up the coats, not being frightened. All this dries lovely and flat. Not sure if the camera's picking up on a pretty good coverage so far. Now I'm going to leave these to dry, because when I shut the lids I don't want the paint to get affected. I was thinking about doing some milliput welding on these, but again I've sort of debated that with myself. You find yourself when you are going to go ahead and build one of these, you do a lot of that, constantly contemplating your next step and ideas, and constantly changing those ideas, and that's normal. Get into a nice rhythm. I'll leave that to dry now, and we'll give it another coat. Right, okay, so that's really nice and dry. Just going to put these lids back down gently, so we can get a coat of paint on the top and then hit the parts that we couldn't hit before. Drying so well and so quickly today, obviously because it's so warm and so dry. Couldn't wish for better painting conditions. Light breeze, but it's all right. And I'm definitely going to be doing some weathering on this, because I've made that decision quite early doors. Like I said, I want to step this up as a build to what I did with the Tiger. Really want to get a decent coat of primer on this. A lot of metal components here, a lot of moving components. I'll make sure there's a decent amount of paint, because over time it will wear, like the Tiger has, but I touch that up every now and then. I think it's normal. Sometimes the odd bit of bare metal, I guess, doesn't really take the look away from it. Almost ready to go for the top. So this is the second coat. I'll probably give it another coat away from camera. There's only so much you can talk about when you're painting. Thought I'd do this in real time for a change. I mean, if you're a master painter, you don't need to see this, but if you've never done this before, I just thought you might find it helpful. But you know, don't be frightened. The key is really not to put too much paint on. Keep the can moving, keep it shaked, or keep it shaken. Wipe the nozzle frequently. It's all good. And yeah, it's a random piece of don't know what that was, possibly a piece of glue. That's pretty much there or thereabouts. I'm coming to the end of this can. So I'll use up this can, then I'm going to give it another coat off camera, allow that to dry, and then we'll go for the final coat. And we will probably need about 2 or 3 coats of that, just to give it a really good base. So that's it, I'm happy with that. So we'll take that off. I'll stop the camera now. I'm going to give this a good 10 minutes to dry, and then I'll give it another coat of primer, and then next time you see it, we'll start put the olive drab green on it, and I think it'll really sort of start coming to life. And then what we do is we'll get the tracks out, and then we'll give them a good coat of paint as well. So I'll see you shortly. Right, so it's had another coat on the top, not on the bottom here because it's already been painted, as you know. And now we're going to go in with the olive drab. Again, it's just a matter of building these coats up. Got to be honest with you, I'll be pleased when it's bit's done. Feels like I can move on with the rest of the tank then. Get a bit of spitting, but I wouldn't worry about that. Let's only give the can a good shake, give that nozzle a bit of a wipe. You know, don't worry if you don't, just build it up slowly. If you miss pieces, you can go back. Keep rattling that can. The breeze is getting up a little bit now, so it gets a bit more challenging, but it's going on fairly well. As I said, it's drying really, really quickly. Give this a few minutes to dry, and then we'll give it another coat. Just building that paint layer up, layer by layer. So that's a dust coating. Oops, lost that. We'll give that a while. Right, next coat. A little bit of spotting there. I'm not bothered about that on this side. I have to be a bit more careful about that when we do the top side. That's only where I'm just got to keep that can shook and wipe that nozzle frequently. Sorry about the noise. Where I live is fairly rural, and the old bikers like to come out and give the bikes a good old run. I'm just envious. I can't ride a bike anymore. I had quite a bad accident many years ago, I could probably get on a bike, but my missus would not allow it. I was lucky to get away with what I've got away with, but I do miss it. So if any of you guys are bikers, hats off to you. I'm so envious. This is probably going to need another coat after this. You do use a lot of paint. Needs another coat. I'll leave that to dry and give it another 10 minutes. We'll come back and give it another coat. Right, so giving it its final coat on the underside, and we're just going to start getting the top side blown in for its first dust coat. Again, don't worry too much about covering it first. It's going to take 3 or 4 rounds before it really starts covering. The wind's getting up a little bit, which makes it a little bit more challenging. But I've kind of started, so I'm going to have to finish, sort of thing. The joys of 1/6 scale tank building. Mad to think that the weather was so good. It's still glorious, but the wind is picking up, which is becoming a little bit more problematic. But I don't want to stop. I'm kind of that kind of person that when I get in that frame of mind, I have to continue. It's going to be about 2 cans of a green olive, I reckon. Perhaps even more. Just getting this finished. It's starting to come together, I think. We're probably all wishing I had sped this up now. Well, you can always do that yourselves, guys. You can come in and out of and do it, but we're almost there. Now the wind's dropped a bit. That's great. Just flip these over. They're quite neat the way they operate. Maybe be handy. Some of the stuff that the equipment you may need even as a model tank. Be quite neat to be able to store it away in these little bins. So I'm going to carry on doing this. I won't film the whole thing because you'd have all dropped off to sleep probably at this stage. So I'll carry on and I'll come back to camera. You come around there. Yeah. So I'll carry on and I'll come back to camera once I've got this finished, and then we'll talk about doing the tracks. So I'll see you soon. Right, so while I'm waiting for the final coat of the mudguards to cure, I'm going to give these tracks a bit of a coat of the dark grey anthracite. But again, I'm not going to prime these, just going to give them a bit of a coat, and then when the tank starts driving on it, the metal parts start wearing through like on the Tiger, and it looks quite effective. I mean, there's some loose tracks which will need to be painted further down the line that go on the turret, but I'll do that at a later stage. Just want to get, while I've got this weather the way it is, get these jobs done. And I wouldn't be too fussed. Don't worry about getting it completely covered. You don't want to do that. Just want to get the sort of aluminium look off of it. What I do is I get these coated this side, and then I'll spin them around and we do the other side, and then I'll just put these away until we're ready to put them on the tank. There's jobs like this need to be done when you get an opportunity like this. I just simply pick this up. I say simply, just the wind is playing a bit of havoc with this. Flick them over. As you can see, don't need a full covering on them. Just want to give them that sort of steel look, and then the rest will happen in time as it starts driving. No undercoat or anything on these because it defeats the object. Don't worry if it's not getting a full cover, that's the whole part of it. Get that sort of multi-toned sort of steel effect. This is just standard tinned or canned spray paint, anthracite grey, matte finish. As you can see, I've just got some dust sheets down, really just to protect my drive. I mean, this is how I would do it, or I'm doing it. I mean, you guys might find a different way of doing it, but I found this is very effective on my Tiger. I'm just looking behind, it looks really smart. So you get the contact with the road or hard surfaces, wears the paint off where you want it to wear the paint off, and leaves the paint on where you want it to leave the paint on. That's about it. You see the transformation just by a little bit of paint. Now, some people have done these in black, but I think black is too extreme. I think anthracite grey is about the right thing. And that's it. Simple as that. As you can see, that's pretty much how I wanted it. And then once that's dry, just going to roll that up, put it away until we need it. So pretty much run out of time on this build session today. Painting has taken more time than I thought. So I'm going to wrap it up today. I'll come back to camera in a moment. And then the next time we see, we will start building the top side of the hull. Sometimes the time just gets away with you, and today has been several hours painting, but I'm glad I've done it. I'll come back to camera very shortly, and well, I'll speak to you very soon. So that's it for today. Just really a bit of painting. As I said, we've assembled the bins. Now they're painted, so I managed to get another 2 coats on. Bit of a windy day. And the paint has speckled in places, but I'm not worried about that because I am going to be weathering this, and that's probably going to help weather it with the weathering process. So didn't get a chance today to get on and build this top section like I wanted to, because this took a lot longer than I thought. But anyway, I'm really pleased with that. As you know, done the tracks, we've done the equipment bins and the mud guards, and then these are going to be put away now until I'm ready to put them on, but at least I know they're painted and ready to go. And then, as I said, we'll crack on with this. Hopefully by the time I speak to you again, I would have had the motion packs arrive. We can put those in, and if they haven't, we've still got plenty to do. So again, if you're following me, thanks so much for all your support. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. If you like this, thumbs up, it means the world to me, and I'll see you real soon. Thank you.